Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. I promise you, we're going to get some insight today on things that many of us have dealt with, will be dealing with. I'm talking about grief, and it's just a part of life. And it could be grief from the passing of somebody close. It could be grieving a long-term relationship. It could be even grieving a job. How do you move forward? We busted some of those myths about the stages of grief and all of that last time we got together with her. And we're going to learn firsthand from somebody that's dealt with it. And she's worked with a person that supports those grieving. Julie Ehlers is with us once again. Welcome. How you doing today?
Great. And I'm super excited to be here with you today, Steve, and to have Summer Snyder on our show. Summer's coming to us from to share her grief, to share what she went through, and to know when it's right to reach out for help. Summer has an incredible story that I had the honor of sitting witness to and walking through her grief with her as her champion, as her cheerleader, and her companion. And it has moved my life and will stay with me always, to watch her just become the new person that she is. And we're ever evolving, and there's a lot of hope, and Summer's story gives us that. So welcome, Summer.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here today. Yeah. Where do we begin? Your journey. Why don't we start? How your grieving process started?
Yeah. So I don't know how much Julie shared. My husband of over 20 years lost his battle to colon cancer 4 years ago. And I met Julie a year at exactly the year anniversary because I was in a space where I just felt like I was supposed to be better. You know, you guys talked about on episode 1 about how grief is like, it's not linear. And I felt like I did all the anniversaries. I did all the hard. I took our firstborn to college shortly after he passed. And I just felt like I should be feeling better. And I just wasn't at all. I really just felt like I was digging deeper, and I was kind of stuck on this cliff that I just I couldn't move. So I actually looked up grief counseling, and Julie's center popped up first. And I called her, and something that was so striking about Julie the first time we met was, as I was just sharing my story, she was pumping gas. And I just kept saying, like, I can call you back, like we can set up another time. And she's like, no, I want to hear. Like, she took the time to just really hear my story. And Julie has shared with you, you know, that she has also lost a spouse. And so that connection really helped me because it is different to lose a spouse than a friend, a parent, etc. Like, it really does affect every facet of your life. And you are triggered by those constant reminders in the house and smells and songs and all the things. And so it is amazing. I cannot believe where I am at now compared to where I met Julie, you know, 2.5 years ago. We've been working together for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And just the things that she has helped me see, and just that perspective has been astounding.
I almost think I think things happen for a reason. And poetically, she's out there pumping gas. You're on the phone with her, you know, first call. I feel, Summer, that you ran out of gas.
Yes.
Like there's no fuel. Like, how do I move forward? How do I do this? So what were some of the feelings that you had there in the beginning where you know, there's I don't want to say a normal grieving process, but you're going through it, but now you're at the edge of a cliff. Like, where do I go next? I don't know.
Yeah, no. And I like that you use that gas analogy because it makes me think of when I met Julie, when I kept using the word stuck. Like, I kept picturing myself on this cliff that, like, even the thought of like moving forward, like I was cemented in the ground. I could not move. And one of the things that I said to her, and this is kind of where I was at emotionally, is I would try to, you know, Julie really encouraged like moving, like constantly move the grief. And so I would tell her, like, I'd go on these walks and I would say I would have these moments of like, I just kind of want to step in front of this truck. Like, I just want to step in front of it. And obviously that I was not wanting to hurt myself,
Mm-hmm.
but the benefit of Julie was that she mentioned, like, because she has that 10,000-foot viewpoint, she was able to say, like, it sounds like the grief has been really heavy and you want that heaviness to stop. So answering your question, like, I just felt this extreme amount of heaviness that then was tied with like fatigue. And I think people think that like time will heal, and it really doesn't heal. It just prolongs those feelings if you're not working through them. So like the power of working with someone, and with Julie is allowed, like, again, like time doesn't heal, but my muscles for that heaviness are stronger. So I can handle that heaviness better than I could years ago.
Julie, what were some of the things that you first thought of in meeting Summer of how you're going to help her and support her?
You know, when somebody calls and they are in despair, which Summer was, and just completely brokenhearted, the first thing that I like to do is meet their heart and let them know that they have somebody there for them. Because as much as we say that, don't, it's better to grieve with somebody, it's better to have somebody walk the path with you, unless you actually pick up the phone and do that, you don't you don't get there. It's like it's just this deep divide with our human spirit and others. And Summer was feeling that. So, I wanted her to know that I was utterly there. And there was no hanging up the phone, that, just because I was pumping gas, and that I was going to be there. I was going to help fill her tank. And that the process was our voices coming together with, genuine love and support. And that love that, sometimes we feel that we've lost because we have in a spouse that was there for us, a father, a brother, doesn't matter who they are. It's that you've lost that love and you've lost the opportunity to hear their voice again and to have them say it's going to be okay, and for them to be right there with us in that palpable, tangible way that we are as humans. It's important to reach the caller, the griever, through the telephone line, through a Zoom meeting, through a meeting present with them. However it happens, it's super, super important to let them know that you are completely there and that you're going to walk them through it. And you develop a trust. And that's a tough thing because people don't know me, um, until you talk to me. And when you start talking to me, I feel like if there's that connection that you are open to, you're going to feel it. It's a natural thing between the griever and, for lack of a better way of saying it, the healer. And there are many healers in this world. It's listening. It's listening to the winks that come to us every day from people, and paying attention. So, Summer was all about connecting and wanting to heal. And it was her ability to hear that, to do it, to say, okay, I'm all in. I need this. And so it was definitely the two of us, getting her to the other side. And boy, has she done it. So tell us more about that, Summer. What happened after talking to me and getting to that point where you were going to jump?
Yeah. I just think it was, one of the big things that really struck me was, and you kind of reinforced that just now, with it doesn't need to be on the griever's timeline, because, I spent that year after his passing kind of just going through the motions and doing the things that I think you're supposed to do, such as like, I worked with my healthcare providers to get some counseling. And I just felt like that was like a checking the box, like that's what you're supposed to do. So it wasn't until that year anniversary where I was like, I'm not any better. In fact, I think I'm worse than I was. And then that connection piece, I think I'm in education, and so connecting with people is kind of that is an important part of making and building trust within relationships. But I think with Julie, like it was just this freedom that there was no judgment. So when I would make a comment like, I want to step in front of this truck right now, there wasn't any judgment or any fear where if I told my family or friends that, that would be a very big red flag. So Julie just like, I think it was just that ability just to be so vulnerable and no judgment would come within that. It was just validation. Like, yes, I know what that feels like. I remember that. And to know like to just to validate and show empathy, like you can be open with that. You can, there's no judgment or we don't need to go into like, okay, it's time to go see a doctor now. Like it just she allowed for that space to just be completely vulnerable. And I think with that vulnerability and her ability like to see that different, that different vantage point of your grief cycle. I think that as those are the things that helped me move forward. I also, within our time together, had a job opportunity, kind of switching, not careers, but kind of switching careers. And something that Julie really helped with because this switch was a very big risk because I would be losing a lot of my health benefit, like all the things that are predictable. And especially being like, I have two girls, so being in a family that I am the sole provider now. And Julie's just like belief of like that, like you helped me see that like I can do hard and being able to name those things gave me that confidence to move forward in a time where I felt like I was completely lost or completely empty. Um, so I think it was just kind of all of those things, that ability to connect with you, the ability to take risks and be vulnerable without any judgment. And then be able to kind of see that different vantage point. Like if you do this, like this is going to be something that helps you move forward. I mean, I think you remember that analogy where I was like, I am stuck. I cannot move.
Yes.
I cannot jump.
Mhm.
I don't know how to
Mhm.
jump.
Mhm.
Did you feel, Summer, and I often hear that there's a lot of guilt that comes along when you're grieving in all different areas
Mhm.
where, am I doing enough in their memory? I'm going to change jobs. Well, what would they think if they were here? How are other people going to judge me? All of that. How did you get past that, the guilt aspect?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of sneaks up still now.
Mm.
But Julie helped me see that like the people that really care about you, they want what's best for you. They want to see that you're happy. We kind of laugh. So this is now 4 years out, but one of Julie's homework assignments for me was to join a dating app. And I put it off for several months. Um, but then I did and joined, and I had to work through that guilt too. Like the guilt of like, is it too soon to move on? Is it too soon to have feelings for someone else? Is it too? So I think that guilt always kind of is haunting you or is on your back a little bit, but it's your ability to see that the people that love and care about you, they want what's best for you. They want to see you happy. They don't want to see you in sadness or despair or isolation. So it's just kind of reminding yourself that the people that care about you, they want to see this for you. They want you to be moving down that path.
I want to
And
talk about triggers for a moment, if I may. And my mask is coming down at this point. Not about me, but others. I've sure been in this situation. I was with somebody yesterday. I'm close to them. Their spouse suddenly passed away 4 years ago, coming up on suddenly, and they found him. So they're at Easter dinner at a restaurant with their daughters, and a man dropped in the restaurant, and don't know what it was. She didn't identify that, and she was mostly upbeat about it. But I'm kicking myself because I don't know what to say. Like she just mentioned, and yeah, we're there. And look, where I look over and the guy. I know inside that there is that, and I didn't know what. I let it go, and many times I don't know what to say. And again, she was upbeat about the day in general, but a heavy day, obviously. It's a holiday. Um, what's okay to say in those situations? When triggers come up, I don't know. I'm clueless.
Yeah, I don't think you need to say anything. I mean, I have triggers all the time. I mean, as simple as this last election, my phone, I got a text message saying, Shane, you haven't voted in the last election.
Mhm.
And so triggers pop up all the time. I think sometimes um I feel like we're so wired to always kind of fix, like go solution based and fix things for people. And so I think it's okay to just kind of sit in that silence or not say anything. Sometimes just that your presence alone is enough. And so, like for me, like I don't want to keep talking about the triggers. Um, that can spiral me. And so
Mm.
for your friend, that could also do that too. So maybe sometimes just like acknowledging it and moving on. But I don't think we always have to be in a space where we're always feeling we have to solve problems. We have to say something. Sometimes just being present is enough.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, Steve. And I also, if there was a conversation that followed, like if your friend said, "Oh my God, that just reminded me of what happened to my husband," words like, "That must be really scary. That must have been a really scary thing to observe um, at the holiday dinner." Um, or how are you feeling about that now? Are you okay? Letting them know that you're there, you're present, and as Summer said, your presence is everything. So, and knowing that you can hold that space for her. That's a big deal thing too. So, sometimes we have no words and sometimes words don't work anyway, and they can, like Summer said, they can cause her to spiral
Mm.
into the trigger. So however you handled it was the right way to handle it.
I fertilized her lawn
There you go.
That's
I
a
need
big
that
deal.
too.
before dinner. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's challenging, I guess, on both sides. But when did you realize, Summer, that I got fuel in the tank now? I feel myself starting to move forward.
Um, I think that there was a combination of just different moments. So like switching jobs and then seeing that like, you know what, like I can still provide for my family, for my kids, and we're still staying afloat and it's okay. Um, Also like moving forward, and I'm not saying that you have to like get in a relationship again, but that moment of real like being brave and taking that step and feeling happiness again, that was a big turning point for me because I did live in a space for years that I was like, I'll never be happy again. And I'll just kind of always be alone. And so that like fullness has come in different parts, like finding joy and happiness again, whatever that may be for someone. Seeing that my girls are thriving. Like my kid just graduated college a semester early. Like she went to school after Shane died. Like what a huge accomplishment. And I know I played a role in that. So like finding like celebrating those moments of when like I've done hard. That's kind of my quote is like I can do hard. So those are the things, those combinations of things that kind of just fuel me up. And then again, just seeing like you can find joy again. And that was something that Julie said from the beginning was you will find joy again. This will not stay with you forever. You will find, and at that time I didn't believe her. I was just kind of like, okay, if that's what you say, but truly experiencing joy again, like authentic happiness, whatever that may be for you, that is what has filled up my tank again.
Did you find you had more resilience in you than you ever realized?
I I I do now. I didn't realize that then because I was just kind of in the middle. My husband battled cancer for about 5 years before he passed. So I had nothing but that option to be resilient or like to make sure our kids were okay. And like I just wanted him just to heal. So I just did everything. So, it took me a while to realize like it really wasn't until my daughter graduated college in December where I was like, wow, like both of my kids are out of state. They are thriving. Like I kind of gauged my resiliency on the success of my girls. And so it was just that was a big moment for me in December to see like you are stronger than you think. Like you truly can do hard.
Gotta remember that one.
Yeah.
uh, Julie, your thoughts on her journey up to this point?
It's, it's a true like miracle to watch somebody go from that desperation of practically no hope, um, to where Summer is today. If it's okay to share a little more, Summer. She met Christian on the dating app the very first time she went on. Okay. And she is so more than lucky to have met this man who is just a ball of love and fun. And he's a dude and he's tall and he's all big and, he's just this huge dude, but he has the biggest heart. You just, it shines through his face and his words and the way that he treats Summer. And she couldn't have asked for better. And that they're engaged now.
Oh, wow.
And
Congrats.
and yes, and I've been asked to officiate their wedding this summer. So I'm beyond words delighted and so honored to be a part of this love circle. And it's this huge love circle. We're all in it right now. The three of us and any listeners, we're all in the love circle. And, I really want to emphasize that love is infinite. It's that thing that Summer will always have for Shane. I will always have for everybody who's gone before me. I will always have for everybody who is alive in this space right now. It's just this beautiful gift that if we take a few minutes each day just to go from our head to our hearts and feel the gratitude for all those people who have been a part of our lives and how we move forward with them. But they might not be physically here, but they are definitely, we're moving forward with them and with the new people that come into our lives to continue that love because we all have it to give.
And
We all
something,
have.
Julie,
Go
that you
ahead.
taught me was that like both can be true. Like you can be sad and you can also be happy at the same time. You can mourn the people that you have loved and you can love someone again too. Like that's something that I didn't recognize with grief, but like both can be true.
Yes.
Shane's anniversary was on St. Patrick's Day. And I remember sitting there, I think I even texted you, like it's such a weird feeling to experience such sadness, but also such joy at the same time.
Yes.
And so that's something that I've learned from this work with Julie is like both can be true. You don't have to just be happy or just be sad. You can be both. Or you can be excited about a new adventure, but also super very anxious or nervous about what could happen. And so just understanding that and believing that both can be true helps with that validation process. And then also recognizing that it's okay. Like both can be true.
And I've often heard and sadness is heavy, obviously. If you didn't experience that, you'd never know what joy was. You'd just be kind of flatline. Like you wouldn't see the difference between the two. Wonderful talking with you both today. Julie, if somebody's going through some of that heaviness, empty tank, needs a refill, how do we connect with you?
Call me directly. My phone, I'm always available. If I don't answer, leave your number. I will call you back at
She's usually at the
7.
gas station at that point, just saying.
Exactly. And I'll help you fill your tank at 720-480-3317. Or you can reach out through my website, thenationalgriefsupportcenter.com.
When you get married, Summer, is it this summer?
July. Yeah. July.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Inspiration for all. And I'm happy for you. I have to say it. I feel it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here, Julie and Summer, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Looking forward to next week.
Same. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.